All right, guys, welcome back to the newest Joe Spill video. So tonight we are working on the Spirit. Like I said in the last video, this is the video that you guys probably have been waiting for. We are going to actually sump the OEM tank. You can see we already have most of the car apart. We purchased this from G&R Diesel. This is basically a sump your OEM tank setup. So this is an an10 feed with an an6 return, but our plans are to run an10 right here with our before pump filter. We have our two fittings right here, and then we're going to run it under here to our Magna fuel. So we have an10 into here, we have an8 out of here, and that's what this line is up here. We have our an8 line. Then we are going to run it all the way to the front of the car. You'll see most of this in the time lapse. You won't really see too much going on. And we're going to run the fuel line up here right into the second fuel filter where I'm after the pump. We're going to run an8 through the rail. My brother's mocking it up right here is the regulator. So then we're going to have 8 out of the rail, 8 to the regulator, and then we have 6 out of the regulator for the return to the rear of the car. This used to be the old feed line. This is going to become the new return line. And then once it goes all the way back to the back of the car, which the line's already there because that's what we used before, this cool little sump filter kit thing already has your return right here. So once you put this inside your tank, the kit comes with the hole saw drill, everything. This is your little return tube. So you basically put this in here. Once you cut your hole in your tank, you measure up to here. You want your return somewhere in the middle of the tank so that, you know, you have to trim this if it hits the tank or anything like that. So basically all of your return fuel is going to spew out of here and go right back into, this is your feed right here. You can see that's a nice large an10 line. So you should never run out of fuel. Now, if you read online the instructions for this, it asks you basically to put it as far back in the tank as possible. So when you're taking off, and like I said, this kit is designed for a diesel truck, so it's very, you know, robust. But they tell you to put it very far to the back of the tank as possible in a flat mounting surface, which we have right here in the center of the tank. Here's the two straps that hold it in the car. So we're going to place it somewhere around right here so that when you take off and the fuel sloshes to the back of the tank, you never dry out the feed. Well, with such a big fuel pump like the Magna fuel, the last thing we want to do is, you know, put some air into that pump and kill the pump. Not very cheap pumps, but with our goal of 600 wheel horsepower for this car, we need a lot of fuel. So let's get into it. Hope you guys enjoy the video, and let me know what you think about the crazy fuel setup for the Spirit. All right, guys, so as you've seen in that first little time lapse right there, we were having really hard time getting through that tank. So the bit that they sent us to cut through the gas tank, I would assume is for one of those plastic or plastic reinforced gas tanks, because when we were trying to drill through this metal gas tank, you can tell that it did nothing but eat at the blade. It literally killed that blade. So what I did is went and got my nice little Harvard Freight kit that I used to drill the holes in the front bumper of the Juke. And this shows you right here. It's 2 1/4. I don't know if you'll be able to see that in the camera, but that's 2 1/4. That's 2 1/4. And literally after, I don't know, 10-15 minutes of drilling, we put the metal bit on there and it was done within like 5 seconds. So lesson learned, if you get this kit, you have to get a different set of hole saws to drill out the holes if you're not using a plastic tank. So we all got to learn together at this point. So now let's get to actually getting this set up in here. I'll put you back on time lapse, and then we will, well, of course, clean out the tank and everything so there's no metal shavings inside of it. But we will get to actually running the fuel lines. All right, guys, so after that last time lapse, we now it has now been a few hours. I had to make a new 8-in line for here. This is the feed from the rear. Here's the return. Those 8-in lines are horrible to make. Worst thing ever. I hate that. I on my car, I used a like Neo Teflon one that doesn't have this coating on it. That coating is such a pain to get off. But we have a little leak that we have to fix on the little sending unit thing. Once I fix that, we will be done installing this supposed 800 horsepower capable fuel system. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I will, once I fix the leak, get you a startup video of the car. And yeah, that's how you build a 800 horsepower setup. So I'll do a quick overview. It is a an10 feed from the tank to the pre-filter. From the pre-filter to the pump is an10. Once you leave the pump, there's a post-filter, which is an8, recommended by Magna Fuel on the Magna Fuel 750. So once you leave the post-filter, you have an8 line all the way to the front of the car. Once you get to the front of the car, you hit the fuel rail. So you have an AN straight into the fuel rail. Out of the fuel rail, you have an an8. Then you go to your regulator. Then you go down to a 6. And then the 6 is what returns it back to the tank. I'll get under the car and show you guys exactly the layout once I get done draining the tank from our little leak. And yeah, let's see how this thing works once we get the little leak fixed. All right, guys, so we got the little fuel leak fixed. That pump sump kit thing is actually designed for a plastic tank car. So when we tried to use it on a metal tank, we had to actually use a little washer to get it to work properly. But that's nothing too crazy. It's just something simple to do. Let's see. Oh, I gotta find the right key first. Flip the pump on, which is nice and loud. Make sure it's not in gear. Kill it, just in case there's any fuel leaks. Out here and check, see if we still have fuel pressure, which will mean what we did today is all good. Yep, 40 psi fuel pressure. No leaks, no leaks, no leaks. Now let's look at the most important part. Dry as a bone under here. I don't see no leaks on the ground. So that is a good sign. Well, guys, that'll wrap up this video. That's a basic how-to on how to build an AN fuel system for your Spirit RT if you're going to use a Magna Fuel. I personally would have rather used a canister feeder pump to feed this fuel pump. Would have been a lot easier. But one day we'll actually get a real sump and we'll or I'll convince my brother to build a real race gas tank for this thing. But that's gonna wrap up the video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and as always, like, comment, share, and subscribe. And the next one, I believe we're gonna get to work on this thing. So if you guys don't know what it is, that is CSX. Kind of looks like a Shadow. Has a 2.4 bottom end with a 420A head. One of those hybrid builds we did. And yeah, she is going to be the next to be tore apart, so we can get ready to fix this motor.